Hello and welcome to 2CrazyMedia. I'm your host Matthew, and today I'm going to be giving my review on the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I just saw this movie just this past Sunday, so only 2 days ago. It's pretty fresh in my head, and as I said in the last Sunday news video just 2 days ago as well, that I'd be giving my review on the movie today. I've been doing a lot of reviews, especially movie reviews on the channel, as recently it's really picked up, I'd say, movie season. In the past few weeks, we've had a lot of big films coming out that I'm like, I gotta talk about, I gotta go watch, see in theaters, and give a review on the channel. And this is one of, I'd say, the bigger ones of the year. Obviously, the Super Mario Bros. Movie from a few years ago was a massive phenomenon. It made so much money in the box office. It did super well, and that was a movie I really enjoyed as well. I had a great time with. So I was really looking forward to this. And plus, it's a movie I almost certainly have to talk about, at least on this channel, because this channel is so focused on gaming just as much as it is film, if not even more than film. And so since this is a video game adaptation in a sense, I gotta talk about it. So I just saw it this past Sunday. It's going to be a spoiler-filled review. There will be spoilers in this review. So if you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want to get anything spoiled, none of the surprises, none of the reveals, anything like that, then maybe don't watch this video just yet. But if you have seen the movie already, or you just don't really care and are just looking forward to hearing a review, maybe you don't care about spoilers, but you more so just want to hear my opinion on whether you should see it or not, then yeah, here's a great video, and stay tuned, because I'm going to talk a lot about both, I guess, non-spoilery just opinions of the film, but also my thoughts on some of the reveals and twists and stuff like that, and some of the more spoilery moments as well. I'm going to kind of combine them into both, because this movie is really a film that's kind of almost, a lot of the hype was built off of who's going to get revealed, who are going to be the Easter eggs and the cameos, and what characters from the games are going to show up and all that stuff. And this is going to be a Super Smash Bros. Prequel or something. So people were kind of discussing that, and that was a big part of it. So I'll get into that all in this video. So this review is going to go pretty similar to my past reviews, especially movie reviews on the channel, where I first break down details of the film from the release date to the director, all that stuff. And then I think I'm just this time going to just combine the pros and the cons with this review. Usually I will start with either the pro or the con, and I'll give all my pros, and then I'll move on and give all my cons. And then after, I'll just kind of give an overall statement with a score out of 10. This time I'm thinking I might just combine it, because I feel like I don't have as many pros, but also I don't have as many cons as other films. So I kind of just wanted to maybe combine them all, and yeah, so we'll see. But yes, so how about we just jump straight into it with the Super Mario Galaxy movie review. Oh, and by the way, my co-host Jason, who is in all the Sunday videos, he will be in the video this upcoming Sunday. In the news video, I'll have him give his own review, because I did see it with him. So he'll give a quick little review and his thoughts on it as well this upcoming Sunday. But on to my review. Alrighty. So the release date for this film was April 1st, 2026, but not an April Fool's joke. It is directed by Michael Jelenic and Aaron Horvath, who I don't really know of anything else they've done. I think I heard they did like the Teen Titans Go movie, but I've personally never seen that, so I can't really comment too much on them. It is starring Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black, Benny Safdie, Brie Larson, Keegan-Michael Key, Donald Glover, and Glenn Powell, that is not a spoiler. Glenn Powell being in this movie is not a spoiler. He was literally announced before the movie came out, like a week or two before, and I'm going to kind of get into that as well, and that decision they made to announce him early. It has a length of 1 hour and 39 minutes, so a very, very, very short movie, and has a Rotten Tomato score of 42%, which is not great. It's definitely lower than the first one by a wide margin, I'd say, which I'm not shocked that it's that low, but at the same time, I'm shocked that it's way lower than the first film. Like, going into this movie, before, I thought this was going to be like a step up. from the first film. It seemed like the trailers made it seem like, wow, this is just taking the first film and making it a million times better and adding on to it and all that stuff and having a really cool story with it that everyone loves from the games and all that stuff. But no, did not do as well on Rotten Tomatoes, and I will be honest straight away, I didn't even love it as much. But before I get to my own opinion, just a quick synopsis read through. Having thwarted Bowser's previous plot to marry Princess Peach, Mario and Luigi now face a fresh threat in Bowser Jr., who is determined to liberate his father from captivity and restore the family legacy. Alongside companions new and old, the brothers travel across the stars to stop the young heir's crusade. Alrighty, and I'm just going to jump straight into it. Just like I said a minute ago, this film is kind of a disappointment, I'd say. I'm definitely disappointed with this film, walking out of the theater. I, for sure, drank the Kool-Aid. I thought it was going to be better than the first film, like everyone else did, and turns out walking out of the theater, I was like, oh, that was actually worse. And there were way more issues with this film than there were in the last film that I had. And that definitely sucks. I think there are a lot of good parts. I think there are some good parts of this movie. I think the action sequences, just like the first film, are fantastic. They're really fun. They're all, strewn with nods and Easter eggs and fun little elements of the games. Some of my favorite ones are the Princess Peach fighting in like the casino. So cool. What a fun scene. I mean, the cinematography for the action scene, especially that one, was awesome, kind of using gravity and jumping from like that to that and changing like all that. That was a great scene, shot really well even for an animated film, and just was a ton of fun. I can think of so many different action scenes, from the scene of them battling Bowser Jr. at the end. What a ton of fun, using the power-ups, the different powers from the game, like the drill power-up, and Mario with his like red and black suit superpower power-up, and the fun comedic gag of the Yoshi kind of being the blue Yoshi blown up. Just a fun scene as well, battling the dragon. And probably my favorite action scene in the film is the one actually towards the end, where before the final battle, where Mario and Peach are like kind of like, it's basically like they're going through Bowser's castle level in the Mario games, and from Bowser and Bowser Jr.'s perspective, it looks like the 8-bit video game, and it's awesome. It's so cool. It's very creative. I love that scene. It was a really cool scene and great nod to the games, and what a fantastic fun scene that was. And another scene, it's not really, I'd say, a action sequence, but it's the scene where Mario and Luigi are tasked to kind of run the Mushroom Kingdom themselves after Peach leaves, and it's kind of like you have the world map and all the zones from the game, and they're going to each one, and you kind of zoom in, and you have different moments from each game, battling Koopas and all that stuff. That was also a great scene. It's just super cool, really well made, and yeah, there are some awesome standout scenes that I think especially fans of Mario are going to love and adore, like I did. Another thing this film did better than the first film is that it fixed my biggest issue with the first film. 100% my biggest issue, and I know in the grand scheme of things this isn't the craziest issue out there, but it's at least one that really rubbed me the wrong way with the first film, and that was there was just too many licensed songs from, from like Backstreet Boys, No Sleep Till Brooklyn. There's a million other songs from the first film, like licensed music that I can't think of at the moment, just because my brain tried to block out that from the first film because of how annoyed I was, where it's like, with Mario has one of the biggest catalogs of amazing scores and orchestral pieces from the video games, like iconic music from his games. And you're going to, instead of using all those iconic songs and scores and pieces from the games, you're going to instead use a Backstreet Boys song and a bunch of like songs that your parents love that are like somewhat popular still in today's day. Like, that kind of sucked, and that really rubbed me the wrong way, and I think I just tried to block that out. It was that bad in the first film. I was just very disappointed. And this film definitely fixes that tenfold. I think one or two scenes with licensed music, and both of them I think fit the scene that was happening really well. Like one of the scenes you had Hypnotize, the song Hypnotize, in the scene where like Yoshi, it's a really funny scene where Yoshi is kind of explaining how he got to where they found him in the pipe, and where he's roaming around New York City and seeing all the sights and getting into trouble and getting chased by the cops with the song Hypnotize playing in the background. I thought it was a really fun scene, and I thought the song was used well because I honestly couldn't think of a piece of the Mario score or anything that would fit what was happening on screen with Yoshi being chased down by the cops. So I thought that fit well, but that was really the only example I can think of, and that's a really good thing. Brian Tyler, who is the composer for this film, did a fantastic job with all the music. There were some great moments that were like music from Super Mario Galaxy, music from Mario Odyssey even, and it was just an awesome combination of so many great songs. There was even music from like the Star Fox games, which was so cool and made the scenes with Star Fox so much fun and even better. So they definitely fixed that issue. I'm so glad they did that, and that's one of my biggest pros with this film, I'd say, is fixing that issue from the first film. But in terms of talking about my favorite part of the film, I would definitely say it is Star Fox. Star Fox is a ton of fun in this movie. I wish they didn't reveal him beforehand, because if not, that would have been such an awesome reveal to have them walking through the spaceport with all these different spaceships. You see the Pikmin, so cool. That was a cool Easter egg. They also showed that in a trailer beforehand, so like I knew that would happen, but it's still cool to see them. But I wish they didn't spoil Star Fox, because his reveal is so good. Every scene he's in is fantastic. He stole the show for me, at least. I love Glenn Powell as Star Fox. I think he was fantastic as Star Fox. Fit the role so well. Like, I don't think I could imagine anyone else's voice in the movie voicing Star Fox. So, just love Star Fox. Wish they didn't reveal it. I think I would have been even more positive on this film if they hadn't revealed that early, because that would have been such an awesome reveal. But still, nonetheless, Star Fox is great in this film and such a great and fun addition. One of the coolest scenes in the film is the scene where you first meet Star Fox and he's explaining how he got here and who he is really in his background. Kind of like akin to like a Miles Morales from Across the Spider-Verse, where he's like introducing himself. One of those cool scenes from that movie. It's kind of similar to that, where it's this really cool like animation style that looks insane, showing off Star Fox and his whole crew, like Falcon and all of them, and just what a good scene that was. That was like the highlight of the film for me. That one scene was so good. Like, what a scene, in my opinion. But yeah, so that was awesome. Love that. But I think kind of getting more and deeper into some of my negative points with the film, I think my biggest thing, and I think what everyone has agreed, is that this is the most low attention span movie I've ever seen. This is the most TikTok brain, no attention span at all movie ever. Like, at least that I've ever seen. Like, the ultimate Coco Melon movie. It's just, you're constantly getting something happens, and you are never getting any time to breathe. The characters never get any time to have a relationship or have a nice moment between the two. There are some moments that it's like, oh, that was nice, but it's just so quick, and it immediately just turns into, oh my god, something's happening, or oh my god, this now, oh my god, now something else is happening, oh my god, now something else is happening, and it's just constant, where you never let any of the characters breathe, you never let any of the relationships breathe. No scenes ever get to breathe. There were some great scenes, like the scene between Mario and Peach, where Peach is sitting on the castle during her birthday, and Mario goes up and talks to her and gives her her parasol. What a fantastic scene that was for the quick second, until it just immediately goes to the next thing, and it keeps moving, and it's like, dang, I wish they let that scene breathe even more. And honestly, I don't think there was enough building the relationship with Mario and Luigi. Like, obviously they have a pre-built relationship, but I wish there was more between the two. They introduce Yoshi so fast, and Yoshi kind of becomes just a part of the three of them, like that group, and it goes from the two of them to now the three of them, and so you don't get much with just Mario and Luigi, which is something I wish there was more of. So even in the first film, there was none of that, so I just wish there was more of that as well. It just moved way too fast. The pace was way too fast. It was like they were trying, it was like the movie felt like 30 minutes long. It's an hour and 40 minutes, but it felt an hour less than that. Like, it was so quick and so fast paced, and still just constantly moving, to the point where I'm like, when it ended and the credits hit, I turned to Jason and I was like, what? I was like, it's already over? Like, that felt like it was like 30 minutes. Like, I just think I don't hate when movies are short if you can fit a lot of good stuff in the runtime and the movie can do well, because a lot of movies can do really well with a short runtime. This movie, not saying it's too short, but too much was going on. There were too many things, too many storylines from too many different games that they were trying to combine into one. There were multiple storylines from multiple different games, all kind of converging and with different characters doing different stuff, and it was just like too much. I love and respect and think it's so fun, all the Easter eggs and nods, as someone who, enjoys the Mario games and knows more about stuff that's happening on screen than maybe the general audiences. Like, I enjoy that, and I really like how the people who are even bigger Mario fans than I am, the people that love Mario, live and breathe, know everything, know like all the characters and side characters and all that stuff of Mario, and absolutely loving all the Easter eggs. I love that, and that's awesome. But it's just at a point, it's too much, where that's really all the movie is, and there's no moment to. It's a good and honestly, what I'm thinking, it's a good Mario movie in the sense of they're tackling so much Mario related stuff, and they do it pretty well, I'd say. Like, everything they tackle from the games is done well. I don't think there's anything that they're like, oh, why'd they change that? That's weird. Even though it's not like they're adapting it directly, they're taking their own liberties with most stuff. But everything else that is in the games is cool. I think it works well. I think it's a good Mario movie and a good movie for kids, but I think this is a bad movie in general for that big just point of it just moves way too fast. It does not let anything breathe. And then I think my other big con with the film has to do with Bowser, which really sucks to say because Bowser was one of my favorite parts of the first film. Jack Black is fantastic as Bowser. He's so good, and he was such an iconic part of that first movie, from Peaches, which was such a good song and so iconic, and it broke the cultural zeitgeist for weeks on end and months even. I remember going to the Game Awards concert that happened that same year the movie came out, like months later during the summer, sitting down, and Jack Black comes out and sings Peaches as a surprise. He was only there it was announced to sing his new song, like, Video Games, that he has with Tenacious D. But then, as a surprise at the end, he comes out and sings Peaches in full costume and everything with a piano. It was an awesome moment. It was so cool to experience that in person live. And that song was like the moment for a while. And it was so great. And it was just such a fun part of that movie. I did not think he was that good in this film. I don't know why Bowser let me down in this movie. It has nothing to do with Jack Black's performance. I thought Jack Black was fantastic. He's just as good as Bowser. It's Jack Black. How can he be bad? But I just thought they didn't give... Bowser's arc in this film was strange. It went from him kind of still having the anger issues as Bowser does. He's still a bad guy, but kind of almost being reformed thanks to, Luigi having the weekly book club and him kind of living more with and around Mario and Luigi and Princess Peach, and kind of realizing that, hey, I don't need to be this villain. These people are like nice people to each other. I want that kind of relationship. At least that's how I interpret it as. And he was kind of changing from, the scene. Okay, I guess the whole moment of the film, whole part of the film I didn't like was when they were on the Honey Queen planet. I really didn't like that whole section of the film. I think the Honey Queen was a little underwhelming. I thought Issa Rae was gonna have a bigger part as the Honey Queen, but it was like not even 2 minutes in the film. And I feel like that scene was really pointless, and it wasn't the best. I don't think it was that funny when they were walking to get to the Honey Queen's honeycomb castle, and just the whole scene of Bowser tempting Mario to punch him, hit him, and that then turns Bowser big. I'm like, first of all, how does that work? They didn't even explain that. That just came out of nowhere. It was so random. And as soon as he started becoming big again, growing, I'm like, what? How? And then him kind of like going from like being like evil to like being good and helping them and working with them and sacrificing himself to stay on and work as a prisoner while they can leave is like such a turn. But I'm like, hey, I mean, like, I didn't love it, but it made sense with how they were writing his character and all that stuff. It made sense with his arc, and I thought it was just interesting, to say the least. I don't know if I loved it that much, but it went from that to like Bowser Jr. captures him, he finds him and brings him up to his ship. At first, when Bowser Jr. goes to shoot them with like a bazooka in like Star Fox's ship, Bowser's like, no, they're my friends, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is going good. He's gonna like probably like he's gonna tell his son, hey, let's not do this. There's another way to find this, and his son's gonna get all mad, and it's gonna cause a rift between the two, and it's gonna be fun. It may be a little strange, but it's fun and it's interesting. It's different. It works well as a movie. But no, Bowser, yes, is a little disappointed that his son, shot them with the baby gun. But then after that, when they're back on the Bowser's planet and they've got like the big the Boomsday weapon, and they've captured Rosalina and they're sucking the life force out of her, I was like, oh, maybe this is going to be the moment where Bowser becomes a good guy and and it causes a rift between him and his son. No, not at all. No, he just becomes a villain again, and then later gets turned into the bone version of Bowser, Dry Bowser. And that was definitely disappointing. I think the way they used his character was just like, it went like flip-flopped, and I think that's a big example of the movie just not having enough time to breathe, and just things just happening and out of nowhere, and just him instantly just switching bad again. It's like, okay, like, come on. This could have been written better. They could have taken more time. I think the one good part that came out of Bowser in this film, he didn't even sing. Where was a new song? Peaches was so good, I for sure thought that they were going to kind of do a new song. Have him sing something new, create a new cultural moment with this film like they did with Peaches in the last film. But no, they didn't. I think the one good part about Bowser being in this film, other than Jack Black, obviously, was the puppet moment. The puppet scene where he's given the puppet show to Bowser Jr. when Bowser Jr. was younger was a great scene. The animation was so cool. It looked really real. That was just an awesome scene. But other than that, it was very disappointing, and I think a lot of that also kind of has to do, I didn't love Bowser Jr. as a villain. He was definitely way worse than Bowser was in the first film. Bowser in the first one was a great, awesome villain, and I thought in this film, Bowser Jr. was just a fine villain. He wasn't bad, but he also just wasn't that good either. I didn't love him that much. Not that iconic, I'd say. So yeah, I think that's really all for my positives and negatives and my thoughts on this movie. So kind of to get into my overall final thoughts on this film, while it's still a lot of fun for most of the runtime, I'd say, the movie moves just way too fast. There's too many things happening, and it makes everything feel overwhelming and pointless. I wish they didn't spoil multiple reveals before the movie came out, as I feel like it didn't really leave that many surprises to be had. There weren't that many surprises in the film that made the theater go, oh wow, like I can't really think of any other than maybe like, no, Rob was already revealed as well in the trailer. And yeah, most things were just revealed in the trailer and posters before, so kind of disappointing. The Easter eggs, the nods, and the music from the games are all great and make it definitely a worthwhile time for someone who is a fan of Mario, but I don't think I could recommend this movie to really anyone else. I think if you like Mario, if you're a fan of any kind of Mario video game or know anything about Mario or are interested in this movie or just have some kids that like Mario, because what kid doesn't love Mario? I feel like he still has captured the hearts and minds of all the kids out there, and they definitely still love Mario and all that stuff, and this movie's going to be good for them in that age range. But I generally think if you don't love Mario or if you don't have any kids to take, I just think this movie's going to be a waste of time for you. It's a fun movie, but at the end of the day, it's not a great movie. It's not a good movie at all. It's disappointing compared to the first one. It's nowhere near as funny. I laughed a good amount of times in the first film. I thought some of the jokes really landed well, and it was funny. This film, I maybe laughed twice or three times, like not that many times. I just don't think the jokes hit as well, and they just were not that funny. So overall, just mostly disappointment. Some good fixes from the music to some fun action scenes and Star Fox being fantastic, but at the end of the day, just a kind of a disappointment for me, and wish it was better and wish there was more in this film, but more in the sense of not more plot details, because there's too much plot details, but I guess more fixes from the first film, and just felt like better of a movie than the first, which it was definitely worse. So that definitely sucks. But if you like Mario, definitely go give this movie a watch, because at the end of the day, the Easter eggs, the nods, and the action scenes and all that stuff is still a ton of fun to see. Finally, if I were to give it a score out of 10, I'm probably going to give Super Mario Galaxy Movie a 5 out of 10, sadly. Just to reiterate everything I said for a final time, it is a lot of fun at moments. The movie is great for fans of Mario, or who at least somewhat enjoyed the first film. I think you'll have a fun time in this movie, but overall, it is a disappointment. It's nowhere near as good as the first. There are just a lot of issues. Even though they fixed some issues, there's still just way more issues that have popped up now, and yeah, it was definitely a big disappointment, and I wish I loved it a little more than I actually did. So yeah, that's all for my review of the Super Mario Galaxy movie review. In terms of some housekeeping, later this week, this Thursday, the video will most likely be finally my review on Crimson Desert. I know it's been a long time coming. I've been constantly delaying this from, being annoyed with not being able to play in 60 FPS on my PS5, and then finally getting a PS5 Pro last weekend, and finally getting a good performing experience with the game and being able to play it on 60 FPS with good looking graphics. So I've had more time to play it now and kind of get my opinions out the head of oh dang, that sucked, to just them constantly putting patches in the game and constantly fixing different stuff and adding new fast travel points and bug fixes and all that stuff, to the point of it's if you review this game at any point, it's going to become outdated in less than a week. So I've been kind of delaying it to the point where maybe some of the patches start to slow down. They're not every day. A few weeks ago, it was every day there was a big patch that fixed a lot of stuff. So I've been delaying it a lot because of that, and I don't want my review to become outdated in a week like a lot of people's have been. So yeah, expect a review this Thursday. I'm not saying it's 100% this Thursday's video is going to be a Crimson Desert review, but I think I'm ready for it. I've played enough of the game to kind of I have my thoughts, and yeah. So stay tuned for that on this Thursday. Most likely a Crimson Desert review. If not, then I'll think of something else. It won't be a review. It will just be a random topic. So yeah, if you have any ideas for any upcoming topics for Tuesday, Thursday, now that we're kind of slowing down a little bit for upcoming movies for at least a week or so. This past few weeks have been so many video game reviews and movie reviews constantly in these Tuesday, Thursday videos. Now that we're kind of a little slowed down with it just for a little bit until some of the bigger movies come out next month and we get Pragmata next week, it's the brakes have been pumping a little bit. So if you have any suggestions for any fun topics like I've done in the past, let me know in the description. Any rank lists of video games or a certain video game genre or certain developer or anything like that. Just let me know. I'd love to talk about anything video game or even movie related in that way. So if you have any ideas for Tuesday, Thursday videos, put it down in the comments below for next week. And then this Sunday, obviously, news video, most likely. Actually, 90% chance there will be a news video this Sunday. Back with my co-host Jason, will also give his opinion on the Mario movie. So that's going to be all for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, let me know down in the comments below what you thought about this film, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you share any of my sentiments, if you maybe have any other pros and cons that I maybe didn't mention. Put it down in the comments below. Always love to hear you guys' opinion. And that's going to be all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, comment, and all of that good stuff. Turn on notifications. And that's going to be all. Thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.